we just need to talk with our children, because soon they're going to be the leaders who can really change things for children with autism. He starts, doing things that he does, and they were accepting it as normal for him. Our children are unfortunately at hospital a lot. A lot of our parents still find everyday life very, very challenging for us, just by having autism, and then by having it in the community that still does not really respond, not always in a good way.
Welcome to the Metautism podcast, where we're diving into the vibrant world of autism and championing inclusive education and employment. Join us as we explore innovative strategies, share inspiring stories, and analyze groundbreaking initiatives that celebrate differences and advocate for a future of equal opportunities. Let's get started. Hello. How are you? Welcome back to the part 2 of our episode with Iva Klarić from Croatia. I'm your host Clara, and if you haven't listened to the part 1 of episode with Iva Klarić, I suggest going back and listening to it first, then coming back here for the rest of the story. Quick reminder, our guest is Iva Klarić. She's a mother of a 9-year-old child on the autism spectrum. His name is Shimon, and she's also a coordinator of Plavi Association that aims to improve the quality of life of children and people on the autism spectrum, as well as their families, caretakers, educators, and others. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So now let's get back to some inclusion projects that you did. For example, you had Superhero A, meaning Superhero A standing for autism, the project that probably everyone in your local community heard of. Can you tell us what that project is?
Yes, well, at one point, after we did different things with our association, we realized that all of the, let's say, impact that we did was kind of involving adults. And our group that we wanted to influence most is children, because our children go to school with children, and on the playground they're with children. During the day on the walk there are children. We need to influence children, teach them how to react, teach them about autism and so on. This is why we decided to do this Superhero A, and it's basically we called all primary schools in our local community to involve their children, and for them to write and draw different kind of stories about Superhero A. Superhero A was supposed to be a boy or a girl who had some, let's say, autism, but it doesn't have to be autism as it is. It's some kind of learning difficulties, but he or she was still a superhero. So they were supposed to kind of write the story about this boy or girl in their school, let's say, that despite the difficulties that he has or have in some kind of area, kind of does something good. Our goal was to give both teachers and children first this topic of autism to talk about, and then kind of for them together to see that having difficulties in some kind of area doesn't mean that you can't thrive in something else. This is why we wanted to involve all children, just for them to think about this, for us, very important topic.
Amazing. And then as an incentive, you rewarded the class with amazing stories, with pizza for the whole class.
Yes, we had kind of we had a lot of classes were participating, and at one point we had to decide which one was the best, although it was very hard because all of them were great. And we decided to reward them with pizza for the last day of school. We kind of took pictures with them, and it was something, it's always, when you have a reward, it's always, they participate more.
Yes, of course. And what child doesn't like pizza, which is also a positive connection with autism. They will be much more empathetic and understanding and supporting individuals when they grow up.
That's true. My son was in kindergarten with in neurotypical group, and when we were leaving, one of the things that I said, and I really think this is really important because I see my daughter growing up, I said that I think that being in this group was really good for Shimon, but also good for all of the other children in the group because they kind of grew in diversity. It was really funny that after a while they kind of didn't hear, as I said, Shimon kind of sometimes gets loud with his voices, and you could see that at one point they didn't even care about it. He starts doing things that he does, and they were kind of accepting it as normal for him, and that was great. That after a while they accepted him as he is, and that's great with children because if you show them that it's okay to be different, at the beginning they might see this as different. Then after a while they just accept it, and hopefully if we go in schools regularly, the more and more children will accept this as something that is going on in our society, and it's normal.
As I said in the intro, your association Plavi cvijet is on a mission to improve the quality of life for people on the autism spectrum. What should we be aware of that is the area that really needs improvement?
One of the reasons why we kind of founded this association is because there are a lot of associations for children with different difficulties, but not for specific for autism. And autism is very, very specific in terms of needs, and this is why we kind of started from the beginning, and still feel that there are a lot of space for improvement in both in everyday life, in inclusion, in everyday activities, and understanding from our local communities. What I always say that I think it's most important for parents and for families to kind of talk about, that there are different difficulties, not just autism, and that kind of in every classes now you can find at least one child with some kind of difficulty, learning difficulty. And children we just need to talk with our children because soon they're going to be grown-ups who are going to be leaders, who are going to be decision makers, who can really change things for children with different difficulties, and then for children with autism. I still find, and I see that a lot of our parents still find everyday life very, very challenging for us, just by having autism, and then by kind of having it in the community that still does not really respond, not always in a good way, but there are really good changes. And I always say that when for one kind of situation that doesn't feel right for me, when we feel not accepted, let's say, I find at least one good thing about our local community. Like what I wanted to say is, it kind of still happens that a lot of people know us, and they kind of see, they respond in a good way. Like they see Shimon maybe is not in a good mood, but they still kind of laugh at him or give him a smile or a pat on his back. This is something that keeps us going, although there are still situations completely different than the one I just explained. So I think if the acceptance in the community gets bigger, then everything will be easier for us. But what I always say, maybe I learned it with my having my son, but I always kind of give children benefit of doubt. What is specific about autism, that you can't see autism on our children's faces. You can see it after a while on their behavior. So what I just would really love for people to do is, when you see a child behaving maybe not typically, give him a benefit of a doubt. Don't judge him at the beginning. Think maybe he's going through something difficult. Maybe he has some kind of difficulties. Maybe he has autism. Maybe he doesn't. But just first first believe in a good thing, and then if it has to be.
Now let's just get back a bit on the activities association Plavi cvijet does. So what are some of your highlights in the last year or so?
Okay, so we throughout the 4 years that we have been here locally in our town, we try to do different activities. Basically, we are our association is formed of families that have children with autism, and kind of we decide what we're going to do next by listening to our members. And the reason for the forming of associations that in our local community in kindergarten, our children didn't have adequate support. They didn't have assistance. And we thought it was really important for them to have assistance so that they can get integrated into the kindergarten groups. And this is the first thing that we did, and we thank our city for kind of backing us up on this. And let's say for the last, I think, 3 years, it's kind of normal for children with autism, not just autism, with different difficulties to now have assistance in kindergarten. And we have to say that even my own experience with my son, that it got really, really easier once they kind of assimilated this group by giving him assistance to him, and he really had fun there. So this was the first thing that we did, and then we kind of try to listen to our members. So mostly what we do is we go to our local communities. We are mostly focused on our schools. We do different kind of projects to educate both teachers, assistants, to educate them about the specific needs of children with autism. And what else we do? Our children have to have therapies a lot, and they cost a lot of money. So most of our children, let's say my son, now that he's in school, we kind of lower it for a bit. But he was going to therapies 5 times a week at least, and it really costs a lot of money, and for all other parents to go to different kind of therapies. So we decided that we should try to give those therapies through associations, which is something that we do through different projects. And we also have a really good working connection with our local hospital, which is really important also because our children are unfortunately at hospital a lot. So what we did last year was kind of improving dental care for our children, because most of our children can't get normal dental care without undergoing
Anesthesia,
anesthesia, yes. And this has to be done in a hospital, not in at a dentist office. And up until this year, it could only be done in Zagreb and in Osijek. Now it can be done also in Slavonski Brod, which is a real good improvement, because I once had to go with my son to Osijek, and we had to wait for a few months with the hurting tooth. And when it comes to children with different sensory issues who react to different sensory input like pain differently, it kind of makes the challenging life that we all already have even more challenging. So other than this dental care, we also have really good bond, let's say, with our local pediatry. And they really respond to almost all of our requests. Like we have separated appointments with our local neurologists, and our children can get easier appointment. We can get it in the afternoon when there is not a lot of noise and things like that. So we really try to, as I said, to hear our parents and to hear our children, to kind of listen to their needs, and then try to make their everyday life as easier as it can be.
Yes, that's amazing. And I believe this is an amazing conclusion to the episode. So I would just like to maybe highlight the key points of this episode. And that is that you, as a parent, need to have a high amount of self-awareness and that we as a society need to have high amounts of empathy and willingness to learn more. And of course, that nothing happens without many stakeholders included, from parents, associations, teachers, and schools to cities, and you mentioned also hospital.
Yes.
Iva, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Clara, for having me.
Thank you to the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union for funding this project. All opinions are our own. And of course, thank you, dear listener, for joining us, and connect with us on social media, where we will update you on the newest releases of the podcast. Or simply subscribe or follow us on your favorite listening platform. Until the next time, bye-bye.
Bye.